The perfect probate letter. In my hands, I hold the absolute #1 dominant probate letter I use in my business. And I'm here today to show you my letter, and I'm going to break it down on the 5 points, what makes a probate letter so successful. And at the end, I'm going to give you a link to actually download this letter so you can copy it and use it for your probate marketing. But listen, before we get started, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button. This is Rick Ginn with Flip with Rick. Let's get into it. So the first thing you have to understand is the simple mechanics of a really good probate letter. So what do I mean by mechanics? The actual materials you're going to need for the letter. Most probate letters are printed from your office or your home because remember, the volume is not huge and it's too small to outsource to a third party like print mail service. You're going to do this on your own home computer. It doesn't matter if you have laser. It doesn't matter. You just need the simplest printer. It's not hard. We're going to make this really, really simple. The first thing we're going to do is we're always going to do letters when we do this. How do I know this? I've test marketed every type of mailing material to connect with probates, and hands down, letters work the best. Postcards will catch them in the back end, but that first impression of the letter is everything in probate marketing. What I need you to do is just use 8.5 by 11 white paper, which is the paper count, which is usually the minimum we do is a 24. The better because people can touch it and feel it, and it feels more authentic. If you get the cheap recycled paper, it's very thin and flimsy, and it doesn't make a great impression. You are going to get 8.5 by 11 white paper, thicker the stock, a little bit better. There are premium stock 8.5 by 11 papers. They're simple. Just pick them out. Just make sure you keep them white. I've tried every other color. White is the one that works. As far as the envelopes, you just want your standard envelopes. I don't even know what the letter size number on them is, but you want it to be like a business envelope, nice and clean. And then I like to use the peel and stick ones where you peel off the label and put it on there because you're going to use these envelopes. You can either hand address them or you can put them through your printer and have the printer print it off of your Word document. Okay, so we have the paper. So the next thing you need to understand is you are going to use black fonts, no other color, black fonts, 14-point font. I've tried 12. I get a little bit better success with 14. Remember, the bigger the number goes, the larger the font. You just don't want the font so large it dominates the paper. Either 12, I like 14 personally. As far as the type of font, like don't complicate it. Make it as simple as possible, nice and clean, nothing cute. You can use a Cosmic Sans, or I guess it's like just regular bold on it. The cleaner it is, the better, because remember, this is the first impression of you. We have our paper. We have our font. We're going to do the white envelopes, the business ones with the sticky things that you can shut on it. I prefer to use Word. It is the simplest one. You can create mail merges, very simple. You can just download your letter in there, and then you can do a mail merge through Word. That's what we use, and that's what I recommend. That's really the easiest way to do it. So the last thing you've got to understand when we talked about mechanics is when you address the potential probate lead, I like to address them from a personal standpoint. Regardless if you have a house flipping company, a wholesale company, I don't care. I'm just telling you, when it comes to probate, the more you personalize the letter, the better. So I prefer you put a personal name on there as opposed to a company name. Now, that person can work within your company. You don't have to reorchestrate everything like that. I would be Rick Ginn, and then I'm going to address them with, you can use a business address, a P.O. box, anything other than a pure P.O. box will work better. But what you're trying to pull off here is make the letter look 100% authentic. The more authentic you are and the more personal you are, the greater your chances of getting a response. So before we get into it, let's talk about the purpose of creating a probate mail letter. And it's important you understand this clear distinction because this is where most people screw this up. The purpose of the probate mail letter is to engage your prospect to contact you directly via phone. That's it. If you don't accomplish that task, you are not creating an effective probate letter. How do we create this letter? I break it down into 5 simple steps. Now, don't panic. The letter is very short. It's usually 3 paragraphs with a couple statements added onto it. It all fits in one page. It's real simple. And remember, at the end, I'm going to go ahead and give you the link to use my actual letter, but I want to give you the tools, the 5 tools, so you can customize your letter. So not everyone's out there using the exact same letter, which I put out there forever before. So I'd like you to alter it a little bit, put your spin on it, and make it you. Remember, you have a unique ability. You need to go out there and get it to your probate prospect. So the next question is, we know what the purpose is to have the prospect engage us. So how do we do it? Real simple. We are going to take this letter and we are simply going to explain what we do, and we're going to create a call to action. Okay, let me repeat that. The purpose of the letter is to have them engage us. So how do we do it? We're going to simply explain what we do, and we are going to offer a hook in which they contact us. That meaning we're going to provide intrigue. Remember, the whole purpose of any type of direct mail marketing is to have the prospect engage and contact you. If they don't do that, you did not accomplish your task. So let's talk about the letter. I've got a lot of experience doing this, and probably the number one question I get in the letter before I get into the 5 mechanics is, hey, Rick, do we address the death up front? And I'm here to tell you, I've done it either way. Actually, there's 3 ways you can do it. You can simply avoid it and just act like you're looking to buy a house in the area. And be honest with you, it works just fine. You can go the other way and you can hit it right in the mouth and basically tell them how sorry you are for the death of a loved one. You know how painful it can be, and you've been through it personally, which we all know someone who's passed away. That's just a fact of life. Or number 3, you can do what we call kind of a smooth transition into it. You're softly mentioning it, but you're not making it the center of attention in the opening of the letter. It's up to you. There is no wrong way to do it. If you really want to find out, you can split test it. You can address it, not address it, and then you can soft address it. It doesn't matter. I'm going to give you all 3 ways to address your probate marketing letter. So step number 1 is simply the intro. And this is the important part of the marketing letter, where you're basically introducing yourself to the prospect. And this is where you make that decision if you're going to deal with the death up front, you're going to avoid it, or you're going to softly punch it in. Let me give you a couple of examples how this can go. And once again, remember, I'm going to have all this for you in the end. So here's what we call a soft opening. Put the person's name on a mail merge on the top and simply say, listen, I know at this time selling the property is not a huge priority, but in the event the heirs decide to sell the property, please contact me directly. I would love to talk to you. Now, what did I do with there? I didn't hit it up front. I just let them know in the event you do decide to sell that we would love to talk to you. Guys, this is kind of if you're halfway between addressing the death and not addressing the death, if you feel safer doing it in the middle, use this exact phrase. It works very well. Remember, the intro is just a warm welcome to what you're doing. Remember, you're dealing with someone who had a loved one passed away, so it's an awkward intro. It's not like your standard letter. Now, if you're just approaching them and say, listen, I'm looking to buy a house in the area and I noticed your property on 123 USA Street, that's the technique of just avoiding the probate. And honestly, it works just fine too. Remember, everybody reacts to a marketing piece very differently, and you will find out in your area over time if it's easier to address it, to avoid it, or just do a soft addressing, which I call. You guys decide. You have to be comfortable in what you're doing and be very clear on the direction to go. What I recommend is you find the one that's most comfortable for you, and then I would do a little bit of split testing where is one letter you address it and one you don't, and then you find out which one gets more traction in your area. Guys, this is how marketing's done. You have to test data to see how you can get the best results. So go ahead and get your intro. Your intro is never more than a paragraph. It's usually 2 or 3 sentences. In the intro, remember, either you're addressing the death or you're letting them know you're looking to buy a property in that area. Now we move on to step number 2. The second step of the letter is to talk about the property. Okay. This is where you have a choice where you can use a software like Word, which is created by Microsoft, and you can do what they call a mail merge. Hey, listen, I've noticed the property on 123 USA Street. Why do we use the mail merge? Because prospects love to hear their property. Think about it. When your property screamed out loud, it gets your attention. So whenever I rip off your address, I guarantee you're going to snap your head around. That's the purpose of a mail merge. And if you can use it, use it. You don't have to. An example of not using a mail merge is what we call a static print. And a static print means it just remains the same. And the reason we do this is sometimes we try to use the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. If you're not comfortable with mail merges, and by the way, you can do tutorials through Microsoft through Word on it. I know I struggled with it in the beginning. So if you're looking to get your first few probates out, until you learn the mail merge, you can use a static print, which would basically say, hey, I'm looking to buy your house in South Florida, or I'm looking to buy your house in East Jersey. I'm looking to buy your house in Southern Georgia. And that would cover all the houses on your list if you're marketing to that area. Find out which one works the best for you. If you can learn how to do the mail merge, it's the most effective because it gets more attention and it's more personalized. But worst case scenario, you can use the static print. That way you don't have to learn mail merge, or you can wait till you actually learn that technique. So we're doing section number 2 is the property, which you just go in, you talk a little bit about the property. Hey, I noticed your property on 123 USA Street. These are the type of properties we're looking to buy in that neighborhood. And I just want to find out if there's any interest on your side in selling this property. I would love to discuss it further. Now, we've addressed the opening, we've addressed the property. Now, number 3, we are going to talk about the benefits, and we're talking solely about the benefits of working with you. This is where you have to step up to the plate and differentiate yourself from every other wholesaler out there in the marketplace. I've been doing this 20 years, and you constantly have to update these letters because once your letter is successful, people will knock you off. How do they knock you off? They get other marketing pieces while they're at the prospect's house, and they use that, and if they think it's more effective than theirs, then they'll automatically copy it. So I want you to be ahead of the game by learning these 5 steps and how you can have the most effective probate marketing letter. In the benefits section, it's pretty standard. This is where you're going to say, listen, not only do we buy properties in that area, but we actually buy them as is. We do a 14-day fast close. You'll never have to pay realtors commissions, and I can even pay your closing costs. Okay, so you can go on and on, whatever benefits you want to put. They're pretty much standard. Remember, you don't want to put everything in this letter. You have to leave it condensed enough so they call you for additional information. So you don't have to explain absolutely everything. I see so many wholesalers, they use the entire page. They explain so much. There's no reason for the prospect to ever call them because you already put everything on the paper. I would put in as is. We use private funds, and there's never any expenses when we buy your property. Something simple as that. That's step 3 on the properties. Step 4, this is what makes you in a probate letter. So this is what we call the hook. Okay. So the hook has to tie into your benefits of using you. I'm calling this number 4, although it's probably 3B, but we'll call it number 4, the hook. The hook is basically where you're going to create that intrigue. You have to create curiosity, AKA you have to give the seller, the heirs, the PR, a reason to call you. Why am I going to call Rick over these 10 other letters I got? This is where the rubber meets the pavement right here. Okay. So we have to create a hook, and the hook goes just like this. There's 50 states. So this won't apply to every state. For the most part, it applies to most of the probate marketing we do out there. So remember, in step 3, we're buying it as is and no commissions. There's no cost to you. Oh, and by the way, I can show you how you can sell the property prior to the probate process being complete. Please contact me so I can share these details with you. It's simple as that. I have it written down for you, and I'm going to share it for you at the end of this video. But the idea of the hook is it has to be something where you have a solution, but they have to call you to get it. Here's another example of another way we can say it. Oh, and by the way, I can show you how to simply sell your property long before the probate's complete to cut through all the red tape of the court system. Please call me to further discuss, and then you're going to put your phone number on there, okay? Here's a couple other key points that I add to it. By calling me, I will answer your phone personally, and I would love to talk to you about this. Once again, we're talking about a personal connection. These people don't want to call and talk to an answering machine. It's a huge turn off to probate. Like they deal with machines all day. They want to deal with a real human because it sounds really intriguing what you offer. Guys, this is it. I'm telling you right here, step 4, the hook is the reason why I dominate in probates. It is my number 1 thing. Everybody else is just, hey, I want to buy your house. I'm telling you, if you call me, I will show you how to basically cut through the red tape of selling your house in probate and get it sold quickly. Give me a call. Let me explain further. Let me give you details on how you can get it. I didn't tell him how I was going to do it. I just told him I can do it. And by the way, by you watching this video, you should be confident enough to know that you can do it. And let me explain this to you. Probate is run by lawyers and court systems. What most lawyers won't share with you is most people, their biggest asset is their house, and most of them are exempt from any types of taxation or like estate taxes on it. So the court allows for when a property gets sold to basically, they can actually take it out of probate, or they can actually sell the property while it's in probate. It's simply a directive that's initiated by the lawyer to sell the asset. Why would they want to do that? Because assets cost a lot of money. There's mortgages, there's insurance, there's utilities, there's upkeep, lawn maintenance. It never stops. If a probate were to take a year or sometimes 2 on the more complicated contested ones, this property could potentially wind up in foreclosure or break the estate. So they've asked if the buyer and the seller, which we're the buyer, the wholesaler, and the seller is the PR and the heirs, if they agree to enter into a contract, which is fully legal at that point, then the lawyer basically presents a motion to the judge to liquidate the asset. Usually this can be done within 30 days. Now, this isn't going to stand for probably every state. I'm trying to cover a majority of them, but I'm here to tell you, lawyers will not share this with you. It's one of the reasons I have done so well in probates. And I want you to share this with your prospects. There is a way to buy these properties without waiting through the lengthy process of probate. If you guys would just get this through your head and be a problem solver, you too can dominate probates in your local market. So lastly is the close. This is the final paragraph, and this is where you're going to sum it all up. And remember, we're keeping this to 1 page, 3 paragraphs, maybe a sentence or 2 added to it on the opening and the end of it. So let's talk about the close. So we want to sum it up nicely without being a predatory shark. Here's how I would say a lot of times. And like this is, so by the way, I've got 10 letters I've used very successful in my head, and I rotate them all the time. And I'm constantly going to do that with you guys, so we don't have the same letters out there all the time. So here is the close. In the event your family decides to go ahead and sell this property, please reach out to me and I'll show you how we can cut through the red tape of the probate system to get the property sold quickly. Call me for details. I'm going to put the phone number, and keep in mind, I will answer your call personally. That's it, guys. That's how I end it. It works. These 5 steps gives you a dominant probate letter, and it will work in your market. Guys, tell me what you think in the comments. Are you guys using your probate marketing letter using my 5 steps? And if not, let me know the steps that you use to do a creative marketing letter. And guys, if you want to actually get this letter and you want Rick to guide you through, and you just want to plug it in your Word document, it's really simple. Go to freewholesaling.com, go to the probate module. I'll have it set up in there for you, and you will actually get the letter. Please keep in mind the 5 points on it, and I want you to adapt the letter to make it fit you. Remember, you're unique, you're special. Make sure your probate prospect understands that. And guys, go out there and help people. Remember, probates take at least 6 points of context before you can even close them on price. How do I know this? I have a lot of experience in this area. I want you guys to utilize it. Guys, go to freewholesaling.com. Go ahead and download my letter and go in the probate section there and deep dive and learn and master this trade. Guys, you can do it. There's no reason you cannot dominate wholesaling, especially in probates in your neighborhood. Go over to freewholesaling.com and get started now. This is Rick, and I will see you in the next video. Guys, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.